All right, so earlier this week, reporters got to speak with both Glenn Schumann, Georgia's defensive coordinator, and Georgia's co-defensive coordinator and safeties coach, Travaris Robinson. During a media session, we got to learn a lot about the defense and where things stand in the secondary. That's what we're going to talk about in today's video. All about the secondary right now, which guys you need to keep an eye on, which guys could be returning starters, which guys could emerge to have breakout years. We're going to talk about all of it, but I feel like we should start with Malachi Starks. That's what Glenn Schumann had to say about him early on. He said Malachi is a guy, actually no, this was Travaris Robinson, one of Georgia's new defensive back coaches, right? Came from Alabama, has coached all over the place, has been coaching with Will Muschamp for a long time, had a lot of good things to say about Will Muschamp. But about Malachi Starks, he said, Malachi is a guy you want your son to be like, which is a big statement, but I know Malachi Starks as well. He is a great kid, fantastic football player. He's going places, and you knew that when he was at Jefferson High School. He went on to say he's holding people accountable. I think that's one of his greatest traits. Yes, he's a good football player. He's a great ball hawk, that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, Malachi Starks holds people accountable, and he holds himself accountable. That's why he's such a good player. And he went on to talk about how Malachi texts Coach Robinson every morning at 5:30, hey, where are we meeting? Where are we running? And it's kind of been a joke now, but that's what he said. He said Malachi is going to hold people accountable, not only himself, but the rest of the team. It's going to make everyone else better. Another safety that both coaches talked about was Janelle Aguero. He's a sophomore safety. They recruited him out of Maryland. Will Muschamp absolutely loved him at a high school. Again, former five-star. Georgia was on him early. They were able to land him in that 23 class. That's turned out to be, we think pretty good so far. A lot of these guys were talented freshmen last year who I think we're going to see a lot of this year and have a chance to have a big or have a bigger impact this season in just their second year. And Janelle Aguero is that guy. Here's what Travaris Robinson said about him. He said, I'm pleased with how he's attacked camp. He's grown up a lot in terms of, this is Glenn Schumann. This is Glenn Schumann talking. That's my bad. Glenn Schumann said, I'm really pleased with where how he's attacked camp. He has grown up a lot in terms of his ability to consistently do what we ask him to do. And obviously he's physically gifted. I really appreciate the growth on a personal level because he's matured in a lot in the last year, and it's showing up on the field. And so hopefully he continues to do that. Again, I'm not the best reader. I'm reading some quotes right here. I went to Kennesaw State. Sometimes I stumble over a word or two, but the big deal, what you need to remember about Janelle Aguero is that he learned from three guys last year as a freshman on how to do things, how to practice at Georgia, how to compete at a place like Georgia, how to earn playing time and become a big-time player. He learned from Javon Bullard at safety. He learned from Tyke Smith at star. He learned from Kamari Lassiter at cornerback. That's the leadership of those guys paying off. If Janelle Aguero does become an impactful player in the secondary, I think you can say thanks to those three guys as well. Here's what Travaris Robinson had to say. I knew he was very explosive. I knew he had coverage ability, talking about his time when he recruited him when he was at Alabama. He said, I remember him as a prospect, and to watch him develop and learn in the system and learn how we do things and why we do things, it's been good. I thought he did a really good job in the spring, and he's processed through camp. And I think he's doing an amazing job of learning how we do things and what we're asking him to do. He's a talented guy. So no one's doubting his talent. No one's doubting his size, his ability to hit, his ability to run and make an impact not only against the run, but in the pass. They're just trying to get him to understand how the culture is in the environment. Year two, I think he's going to, start acting that way a little more and understand that, hey, he has a massive opportunity in front of him. They've got this assume nothing mentality. That's what Travaris Robinson talked about. I want to talk about that in just a second, break down more of that. You could read it over on Dog Post as well. I already wrote the story. It's over on the site, so make sure you can go do that. That'd be great. But after that, get your Bulldog, collegebronze.com. That's where you can get this bad boy right here. He's the #1 Bulldog statue on the market. You're not going to find anything else like him. 35 pounds. He's going to be a second member of your family. If you're a single guy, second member of your family. He's our fourth family member right now. My 2-year-old loves him. It's awesome. Promo code DOGPOST, DAWGPOST. Order in the description below in this video. Get yours today, made in Roswell, Georgia. Get yours today so you have it for the season. They're selling hot right now. It's selling season, so get yours before everyone else jumps on board real soon, okay? Promo code DOGPOST. Assume nothing. Travaris Robinson basically came in and told the defensive backs, hey, it's an open competition. And he said, Malachi Starks, I know you're a returning starter, but it's open competition now. Now he's going to start against Clemson. Like, he's one of the best players in the country. He's one of the faces of the program. He's an elite safety, right? He's going to start. But the message is still clear. Like, hey, everyone's got an opportunity here. You have to show it. You have to show it at practice. You have to compete at a high level, understand what we want you to do, how to do it, and become the best player. They want to see improvement. They want to see growth practice by practice. They want these guys to get better consistently day after day after day. And some of those freshmen might be doing it. Of course, I thought I had some notes right here. I do have some notes on KJ Bolden. Here's what Glenn Schumann said about freshman KJ Bolden, who everyone's excited about, right? You got to be excited about him. He is an elite athlete, did a little bit of everything for Buford, wide receiver, safety, one of the best return men in the state, probably across the South. He's electric, and he flashed big playability behind the line of scrimmage in the spring game. I think he had 2 tackles for a loss. But Schumann said it's about his maturity. And like Janelle Aguero, like we talked about earlier, this guy's physically gifted. He can run. He's long. He's athletic. He's tough. He's physical. He's got to keep maturing and turn into a really, really great high school player to a student athlete at a university and get those practice habits down and make sure you're on top of your game everywhere, right? He said how he approaches his business. He's had a maturity about him since he's been here. And if you think that up with ability, you continue to grow, you have a chance to be a good player. I think his maturity has impressed me from the moment he's been here. He's been very serious, and that's focused on the task at hand, which is what you need to do on a day-to-day basis. So again, he could have talked about his talent. He doesn't need to. Everyone knows he's a talented kid. But if he continues to get it, upstairs, right? He's a smart kid. I'm not surprised at all that he's already this mature for his age and making a possible impact. Again, these guys haven't played yet, these freshmen, and Janelle Aguero hasn't started yet. And but these are young, talented players that I think are going to make an impact. Dan Jackson might start at safety. Malachi Starks is going to be another starting safety. And there's other guys as well, but I want to talk about the cornerbacks real quick. I don't want to run out of time. You've got one guy, Dalen Everett, right, who you could probably pencil him into one of the starting roles, right? Assume nothing. I'm not assuming. I'm penciling him in, right? There's an eraser at the end. It's not with a pen. I'm penciling him in with a pencil. And the other starting cornerback job is up for grabs. Julian Humphrey and Daniel Harris, the guy I like. I'm a big Daniel Harris guy. Y'all know that if you've been watching this. But here's what Glenn Schumann had to say about that brewing battle that we're seeing right now in fall camp at cornerback to see who's going to start against Clemson. He said that whole room is still in competition. So I'm just singling out those two. There's a lot of young guys in that room because whether it's young based on experience or age, everybody is constantly growing. And I think when you look at them, you have to be able, when you play corner in college football, I misread that again, no big deal, no one's surprised. You have to be able to not only be a guy that's man-to-man cover guy, but you have to be able to show up in the run game. You got to be physical. You got to get off blocks, right? Those screen games, short passing game, right? The screen game. When you got guys already blocking, right? When the ball's thrown on these cornerbacks, they got to be able to shed that block, go make a play in the backfield. Kamari Laster was so good at that. That's what he's looking to see. So that's what we need out of that position in general, is to be able to be successful in man-to-man, play the ball down the field, and be able to be a factor in the perimeter block destruction game and tackling. And I think those guys flash in each of those areas, but increased toughness, it's part of the Georgia defense. It's part of playing defense in general. And as those guys continue to grow in that area, they'll become better players. Boom! Nailed the last part. I think Daniel Harris is probably the more physical cornerback right now compared to Julian Humphrey. But Ellis Robinson is going to play too. They've talked a lot more about Ellis Robinson and a lot more about the defensive backs in general. I want you to read it on Dog Post, though. We've got other quotes, other inside information, other scoop from us, Matt Taberry, over on Dog Post. Make sure you check us out over on the website. I think that's a free story. I think it's a free story. You can go read all about Georgia secondary as we inch closer and closer to the 2024 season. Get your Bulldog today. Promo code DOGPOST, DAWGPOST. You can order in the description below in this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the website.